This podcast is part of the Zeo to Hero Podcast Network.
AvenuePodcast.net.
Hello, all my beautiful people. It's time for another fun episode of If You Give a Dad a Podcast. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who is listening to this episode right now. Whether this be your first time listening or if you've been listening for a long time, I'm glad that each and every one of you are here to enjoy this with me today. So I have a really good guest on. We talked about movies. We talked about movies that he's been in and all kinds of other stuff. He's an actor. He's a voice actor. He is in commercials. He's done all kinds of really cool stuff. And I am talking about Kamen Casey. I am really excited for you guys to hear this episode today. We had a really cool conversation. He's another guest that I met at PTXCon. And yeah, this one's just going to be a real treat today, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. And for those of you who are here just to listen to the Kamen Casey episode, welcome. I hope you enjoy what you hear, and I hope that you stick around and listen to some of the other great episodes I have here as well. So, if you guys are as excited as I am, then let's get this show on the road.
If You Give a Dad a Podcast.
You're bloody welcome!
You know?
Hey, Dad.
If I get my hand stuck in a pickle jar, I'm straight up bull in a china shop, just swinging around.
Started writing songs when I was about 12 or so.
Seriously?
They're retrofitting me now, and
I'm like, yes, finally.
I've also had the opportunity to go train with Boyce Gracie and Dan Seprin.
Wow.
I like that. That's different. It stands out.
That day I took my very first bump and it was fun.
There's only one section to go to first.
Yeah.
Toys.
Bro.
I was like, no, man, surely this guy's not worked out that long.
I haven't laughed that hard since I was a little girl.
What?
Man, this guy won't shut up.
And just a reminder before we get started here, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to iGadap wherever it is you're listening to. Hit that notification bell so you are notified when a new episode drops. Also, make sure that you go out there and rate and review this episode. Tell me what you think of it. And the more people that do that, the more likely I am to be recommended to somebody else. Now, on to the show. All right, everybody. So this one is going to be a blast. I am out here in the hot sun in my garage, but I am excited to talk to my guest tonight. He is a Texas-based actor and voiceover talent. He's known for working on shows like Blue Lock and One Piece and Free and a bunch of other ones as well. He's been on Walker, 1883, and he was even on Black Adam. I am talking to Kamen Casey. Man, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good, man. Just trying to soak in all this heat and hit the pool as much as I can.
Definitely. It's that the weather in the South, it just jumps, you know. I mean, we just hit summertime and we're already seeing, 100. And so it's rough. You got to stay near that water.
Yeah, we were dodging lightning and tornadoes a month ago, and now it's boom, 100 degrees.
Yeah, yeah. And actually at my my job that I do Monday through Friday, we had some tornadoes hit here where we live at in Northwest Arkansas. Man. And it knocked out all of our AC units on our building.
Ooh.
And so, yeah, today was, I think it got up to like 85 degrees inside the building, wow. Because they're still working on getting the units placed on there and everything. So, yeah, it's still dealing with the storm from last month for the heat this month.
Yeah, that weather will humble you. It's just crazy seeing the, just feeling an earthquake. I've never seen a tornado in person, but the videos, I'm like, oh, man, I feel so small.
So I've never actually seen one except for I used to live outside of Memphis, and my mom, I was a teenager, and my mom was taking me to work with her one day for something. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was like take your kid to work day kind of thing, or I'm not sure. And we were about to drive across the bridge into Memphis from Arkansas. And all of a sudden you saw these two funnel clouds that were just like right above us. And so we pulled off the side of the road until it was said and done. And yeah, that was a scary moment. You're sitting there, man, praying, hoping you make it. So yeah. So me and you actually met at a con that we were both actually guests at in, I think it was April. And first time I'd ever been to PTX Con. How was it for you there?
It was cool. It was man, it was my first time doing anything convention related. I've seen them and I don't know, I just never wanted to be one of those guys that jumped into them before I really had any substantial credits, just to be like, hey guys, look at me. I really wanted to truly be invited by somebody based off of just the work.
Yeah.
And it was I mean, I was so underprepared. I thought I had enough stuff. My table looked like it might as well have been a picnic table. I mean, but lovely. I don't know if you guys seen the Peanuts. I know you guys grew up. I hope everyone grew up on the Peanuts. Yep. But the voice actress of Lucy was so kind, and my what do you call that? My not co-star, but another awesome actor from Blue Lock, Drew Breedlove, who plays Bachata. They were so kind to help me. Just give me the just the knowledge to how to prepare my table and what it should really look like. So I'm ready for the next one. I'm ready for all the ones coming up now. I'm gonna look like a whole new person. But the people over at Paris were so awesome.
They were. So do you have quite a few lined up now?
Yeah, we've got Anime Woo Market, the store out in Louisville, Vista Ridge, this Saturday from 11 to 3:30. I think we're doing. And then we're gonna check out the movie. Oh, cool. And then Anime Fest coming up in July, and then MatsuriCon, I think I'm saying that. I'm not sure. I gotta double check if I'm saying that right. Is going down in August, and so it's just been. I can't wait to get out there. And now before I feel like I had too much stuff because no one wanted to, like, who's this guy? Now I'm like, do I have enough things? Like, a little nervous.
Yeah, well, it's actually funny because that was my very first con too, to like be a guest at, and so I was kind of nervous. I was like, wait, do people know me enough for me to even be a guest at this con? Right. So I totally get that. So you actually got to be part of something that was really cool there. The owner of POG was there, and some people might not know what that is, but I grew up with that stuff. Yeah. So, and you were in the finals for it against Sam Stackhouse, I believe, right?
Yeah. I was shocked because when they asked me to be a part of that, I was like, wait, are we talking about the thing from the 90s? They're like, yeah. I'm like, heck yeah, I haven't played since then. Like, I remember going to Taco Bell and leaving with like, they're probably running like Batman or something kind of marketing at the time. And so coming home with these Pogs, never knowing, just collecting them. I didn't even know how to play. And so it was cool all these years later to be able to play. And I was cruising. I feel like, I'm cruising to a victory. And then he pulls off this buzzer beater finish and just flips I'm like, oh, that's what that's supposed to look like. That looks freaking awesome.
Oh man. Sam's a great guy. I actually know him from I've had a lot of wrestlers on the show here, and I've actually had him on, but he's a super nice guy. And that was a lot of fun to watch the POG tournament. Cause I grew up with it, but I haven't seen it since I was, a young kid. And then, they emailed me and was like, would you want to be a part of this? And I was like, man, I sucked at that when I was a kid. So I just watched, but that was really cool.
Oh, it got me hooked. I was like, I want to do more of this. Like, this is fun. Let's go again. Off the record.
You're like, hey, standing over there by Sam's table. Hey, can we get a rematch, man?
Yeah. Run it back.
Yeah. So I actually found some pretty cool stuff when it comes to you've done a lot. You say that, I don't know if I've done enough and everything, but whenever I get to kind of researching some of the things that you've done, you've kind of had your hand in a lot of different things over the years. One of the things I wanted to bring up was a show on Fox called Superhuman that you were actually a winner for.
Hey.
So I guess this is a show that I missed. Can you kind of explain what that is?
Yeah, it came and went. It was but it was, man, right on time for my life. I just graduated from college. Okay. I was like a super senior. I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do in college, and I did community college for a while. While I was doing that, I was a swim coach. I was a videographer that was filming nightclubs, so I didn't have to wait in line. They'll pay me to be there because I wanted to be where the party was.
Right.
But,
right.
I was filming parties at night, and then I was a swim coach in the morning. And then I was going to community college, and I always knew, making short films with my friends, but Irving, Texas, where I grew up, is so far away from Hollywood. Never seen anyone, at least that I knew of, successful from here. I was not plugged into the theater, nothing, anyone around town. And so I never thought those dreams were possible until I took an acting class at Northlake Community College with Alice Butler. And she was the professor there at the time, and she just opened my world to all the possibilities. Sorry, that's my dog who's going to, of course, find a toy to play with right now.
That's all right. I got 2 of them myself.
You're like, oh, that's my favorite toy all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah.
And through there, I got a chance to, long story short, did a couple of years community college, transferred to SMU, Southern Methodist University. Mm-hmm. And when I graduated, literally a couple days later, well, that's another part of the story is I tried out for American Ninja Warrior in 2015 in Houston. And because I was known for like parkour and all that stuff. And man, I bombed that show. No excuses. I just bombed. I did not do a good job. But someone who saw my stunt reel from that show said, hey, a couple months later, said, hey, we're casting for a new show called Superhuman with Mike Tyson. And I'm like, I'm in, whatever you need me to do, let's go. And so I got a chance to do that right after I graduated. It was so cool to graduate school. And then 3 days later, I'm flying to Beverly Hills to Studio City to shoot this show.
Wow. That's insane, to going from that one extreme to the other, but I mean, it's so yeah, I did see the picture that you have out there with you and Mike Tyson. I was going to ask you about that. I didn't know that he was actually the host of the show. What was he like being around?
Oh man, intimidating at first. He's just like, wow, this is the guy that, like, you're standing across from him and you're like, wow, this is, man, if you're in the ring with this guy, it's like, he's about to knock you out. Like, this is what it felt like for all those guys.
Yeah.
But I was amazed that, like, we were around the same height. I'm like 5'9", 5'10" on a good day.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, damn, he was a heavyweight champ, whooping people's asses, just like, sorry, we're allowed to cuss on this, sorry.
You're good, man. You're good.
Just whooping up on people at this size. I'm like, that's so cool, just motivating. But he's hilarious. He's super funny. I think once he sees your energy, which I was super humble, super like, hey, just happy to be here. I'm no ego whatsoever. I felt like he really opened up and saw that I was an okay guy.
Yeah. Have you kept up with the whole Mike Tyson, Jake Paul thing that was going on?
I've seen this stuff. I just hope he leaves just healthy. Just boxing is not a game. This fighting is not for play. And so I just hope he keeps his health.
They had to reschedule it, I think, didn't they?
Yeah. I think I saw them reschedule.
Yeah. I mean, that would be something, I definitely want to see, I'm firmly on the side of Mike Tyson here. So.
But heck yeah. 90s.
Exactly. So you were saying that you like made your own movies and stuff. And I think I read on there that you started making movies at about 14 or 15 years old.
Yeah, I found a camera in my parents, like a home movie camera. I guess growing up, they would shoot a whole bunch of videos because I'm their only child. So I had a bunch of videos of me as a kid.
Gotcha.
And I found the camcorder and I'm like, hey, then I found this thing called, back in the day, we had Windows Movie Maker on PC.
Yep.
And I'm like, whoa, I can edit and make my own clips. And then YouTube comes along in like 05, 06, and people are making their own videos. So I'm in high school, like, I want to try this. And so I just started doing stuff and putting stuff together. And I just got addicted to it and just knew that I just love doing that stuff. And I grew up in action movies and I was in martial arts. And so even to this day, I'm still making those things. And I've actually got a feature film. I'm trying to get this thing on Amazon Prime right now. It's I don't know what the holdup is, but it's called Just Us. And it's an action movie about killing human traffickers. And so I try to keep it simple. I'm just still learning. I'm all these years later doing it for 15 years. And I just say, I'm still learning, just to keep the standards low. I'll figure this thing out one day.
Right. So what you said you like action movies, and I did see that the Just Us movie, and you had a premiere. Was it in like a month or so ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, I invited it was like, money's tight. So it was like cast party / anybody locally that wanted to come watch it.
Right. Man, I read this, like the synopsis on the movie and everything, and it sounds really amazing. It's something that I would like to see. So yeah, you said you're trying to get it up on Amazon.
Yeah, it's what is it called? Prime Video Direct is very interesting. It's kind of like you can upload your content to it and even set a price, but there's no guarantee. I did this before. I had another movie I'd try right out of college just for fun. I just told my story of making party videos for clubs, and I was like, what was that, like 23 when I made that movie? Called Party Hype, and it was so much faster back in the day, but now I guess everyone and their mother is uploading things now. So
yeah,
it's no turnaround date. It just kind of says, hey, it's been submitted. We'll let you know. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, might have to look at Tubi. I don't know.
Well, I mean, compared to like when we were kids and stuff, there are so many different avenues for, artistic people to put their stuff out there. I mean, I was reading the other day just on the amount of even podcasts that are out there, there are millions of them, wow. And it's crazy, that there's so many, and half of them you don't ever hear about. And the same way with, you've got like SoundCloud for music and stuff. You can upload your music to Spotify, and, you've got different places for like your movies and things like that. So, yeah. I mean, the amount of avenues that we have now to kind of get our stuff out there is amazing compared to, I remember as a kid, and this is kind of funny now because I do have a podcast, but I used to pretend I was a radio DJ. And I had a cassette tape and I would play different songs on there. And then I would like talk in the middle of them, like, and the next song is up and, and stuff like that,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And it was just for me. And I was like, oh, how could I get people to listen to this? And I even was thinking like, I could put it in somebody's mailbox and maybe if people like it enough, they'll pass it around,
Yeah.
But now it's like, you can put it out there on the internet for anybody to find. And it's just, things are a lot easier for artistic people to get their mediums and stuff out there.
Yeah, it's man, yeah. I feel like double-edged sword where it's like now anyone can do it, but like now anyone can do it. So sometimes stuff you're like awesome things can get buried and there's oversaturation. And exactly. But I don't know, man. I'm glad it exists versus not existing. So I will say that, but I guess now that I'm getting older, I'm trying to just find that kid again who didn't care, who would go outside and just jump off of a roof and film it, versus like, all right, how are we going to market this? Or where's this going to go? How are we going to get people to see? Just the business side is just like this whole other monster.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So do you have a favorite movie of yours that you created yourself? Which one would you say is probably your prized possession?
Ooh, I will say this one, but besides the one that we just made, because that was just like, I had never made an action feature film. We made a feature film and it was like a dramedy. It was just funny college jock story type stuff. But this was like my true passion is action. And so, but before this one, it was probably a movie called Red City.
Okay.
Red City, which was, I was inspired by a lot of like contract movies, like The Professional, Heat, things like, different video games like The Hitman. It was, stuff like that. And so we made it was a fun movie about like a hitman that grows a heart. It's like a moment of like, and I love that type of character and like the reluctant hero. Like I feel like it's just so much more. I don't want to say relatable, but like when I go to the movies and if there's a Superman character and you can't really relate to him, it's just like, okay, he's a badass.
Yeah.
The end. But like Die Hard or surprisingly, one of my favorite movies is Shrek.
Okay.
Shrek just wants to just hang out in his cave.
Yeah.
But destiny keeps calling and keeps forcing him to go do good things. It's just so much more relatable. Like, oh, okay, I guess I should do this thing today versus like too much Captain America, Superman stuff. Like Die Hard. I don't know. Just Bruce Willis' whole career. He was just so good at being this relatable, like, I guess I got to go save the day.
So there was a movie that he did more recently, and it's a grittier movie and everything, but he's not the badass that he is in his like Die Hard movies. And it actually made it kind of hard for me to watch. It's like, no, I know Bruce Willis. I know what he can do. So it's like, wait a minute, this just does not make sense. That's happened to me a few times with like different shows and stuff, like Sarah Michelle Gellar in The Grudge.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
Buffy,
That's
and then
Buffy.
all of a sudden she's scared of a ghost. You're like, no, come on now. But there's certain people, that's what they're known for, is just that style of movie.
Heck yeah. Like I love like one of my favorite action guys, Jason Statham.
Yeah.
Like I know what I'm gonna get, and I can't wait to see it. Like I'm going to see it. Like
oh man, yeah, Jason Statham, he's great. That's my wife's celebrity crush. So
uh-oh.
Yeah. So looking at some of the other stuff that I found on you, this one I thought was actually really kind of cool, and that's you were part of the Chuck Norris program, and you're a 3rd degree black belt.
Yes, sir. That's I got a documentary I'm cooking up about it.
Really?
I got it to about 45, 50 minutes, but I don't know. 60 is just that sweet spot. Maybe I'm old school, but back in the day, it's like 60 is a documentary feature. So I've just finished this feature film, and then after, because it was blah 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 business stuff. But yes, sorry, I'm all over the place. But
You're good,
Chuck Norris made a he was looking at the landscape of the world in the 90s, maybe even before that, not to speak for him, but it's been seeing that the world, the youth, you can save the world through the youth. You can instill discipline, respect, integrity, inner strength through the youth. And so he's like, how are we going to do this? Yes. And so luckily he was able to get from the help of George Bush Sr., who was the president at the time, to make this program where basically, long story short, replace PE with karate. So you teach the kids karate in the middle schools, and that'll teach them respect, integrity, self-discipline, inner strength, all these things that I feel like the world around us right now could really benefit from in the youth, starting off with. And just giving them a taste of martial arts in middle school, and then after that, it's up to them if they want to continue on through high school. And even the ones that didn't, they always speak fondly of that time, and that's kind of what that documentary is about. It's just about what now? Okay, these kids that they didn't go off to join the UFC, right? But they learned all these lessons that were more about life than it was about who you can beat up.
Right. Did you ever get to meet him?
Oh, a couple times. Yeah. He was at a couple of our belt ceremonies, and it was so cool because all the Chuck Norris culture kind of took over. It has its own myth, all the jokes and it's so cool.
Yeah. No, but going back to what you're saying, I completely agree with you. They need something like that. A lot of kids don't get that discipline in other places, and so they need it from somewhere. And I think that's a good way to do it. My son was in martial arts, for a couple of years, and he loved it. So it's a good thing for kids. It gives them something to let out that energy in some ways, but it's also teaching them things in a way that, they're having fun doing it.
Yeah. It's like, I bust my butt to get this belt,
exactly.
to that medal, that thing, or I lost this time, and okay, I got to go work on this. And, I grew up with, going back to anime, I grew up with Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. And
yep.
It was all about, oh man, like the bad guy's on the way, but we got to get ready. We got to train.
Exactly.
I just love that, man.
Oh yeah. It's funny. There's a whole group I was talking to, I believe it was either Jason Douglas that I was talking to, or maybe it might've been Phil Parsons that I was talking to. And he was talking about how it's created a whole generation of people our age who are, they're built, most of what you think of like your anime watchers and stuff like that, you don't really think of somebody who's like in really good shape, but they say stuff like, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, kind of, it was their, what's the word I'm looking for? It was their inspiration to do that kind of thing, to get into shape and things like that, and I know even for me, like I told you before, I know a ton of wrestlers, and almost all of them are anime fans.
Yeah.
So it's funny, that it inspired a whole nother generation of people to start working out and to, do things like that.
Yeah, it really did. It's just, I remember doing sit-ups, watching, Goku and Vegeta take on, Boo and Cell and all those. Like, man, I need to I just want to make sure. And I haven't honestly, maybe I haven't watched enough anime, so hopefully the fans don't crucify me, but I hadn't felt that until Blue Lock came along.
Yeah.
And getting a chance to be a part of that. And just not to jump ahead, but just the energy of that show.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, we struck gold. I'm like, I was so grateful to be a part of this thing that makes me want to, that feeling again. I'm like, I need to go do something. I need to go chase my dreams. I need to go fight for my goals. And so much fun.
So we can go ahead and talk about it. Actually, I just started it recently,
hey.
and I'm not most of my animes end up being, my favorite anime is Full Metal Alchemist.
Hey,
I'm actually trying to get all of the Funkos in my collection. I've got quite a few now, so I actually have bought quite a few on that, but that's beside this point there. But I've always kind of stuck to the fighting ones and things like that. But Blue Lock is a soccer based anime, and I've never really gotten into any of the sports based animes and stuff. And then I started watching this one, and I'm like, oh, am I missing out on a whole different side of anime just because of that? Because it brings you in and it gets you excited about soccer. It gets you excited about different things that, before I never really had much interest in. So I'm really enjoying the show.
Yeah, and it might have spoiled you because it is one of a kind. It's most of the sports are like, all right, guys, we're a family. We can do this together. Yeah. And first episode of Blue Lock is like dog eat dog.
Yeah, it's dodgeball, and whoever loses is out of it completely. Yeah, so.
But I love that it really speaks. You can just tell when a writer has done their homework and just having an athletic background and just what the quotes that they pulled from the successful people. Right. Because if you want to be successful or you want to be one of one, it's going to take a different lifestyle. You're going to have to let these people down. You're going to have to focus on your thing. You're going to have to zone in. I mean, these names, these Muhammad Ali, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson, we mentioned earlier, you don't say them and usually think of anyone else. They're usually these wonderful Lionel Messi, to keep it about football and soccer. Cristiano Ronaldo is to be that. You can't be the best other stuff. You have to zone in and focus on this or go home. Yeah. Take the pressure off yourself. No big deal. It's like, oh man.
So how did you end up getting on the show? What was the audition process like for that?
Oh man. I always tell people when they're like, how do you get a Crunchyroll? I'm like, it's probably easier breaking into prison.
I've heard that. Yeah.
It's very competitive. The fans want in just as much as actors want in. So, I mean, you've got fans competing with actors. It's just, I wouldn't say, and I don't even know how many other, I think they're the biggest at what they do as well, so it's very, not a lot of competition. Or at least for them, but for all the actors and people trying to get inside.
Yeah.
I got lucky through, this kind of relates to the show a little bit too, in a sense of putting your head down and focusing on your craft and everything else will come. And so I was in school for theater and studying theater and busting my butt to pick up this culture that I didn't grow up with. A lot of the other students were coming from art schools, and I have this athletic background, and I just feel like I'm a complete outsider. As much as I'm trying to blend in, it's not a perfect, it's putting a square into a circular hole. I'm like, this is not working. But I love this craft so much. And luckily one of the, at the time, who was the first person? God, I can't remember who the first person to call me in to do Walla. And what Walla is background vocals, like deep background. So in One Piece or like Full Metal Alchemist, there's a big battle scene in the background. You might hear people screaming or getting chopped up or yelling or battle cry, charge! It's like four of us in the booth, and we're all doing all the screams. And then they might bring in another four and just stack all the voices. Or maybe the people are eating in a restaurant, and you hear the people in the background. This is really taking great. Thank you. How was your day? It's all those noises you got to make. Right. And so Walla was my first introduction. And then I got a chance through there. like once you're in, your name's kind of in the surrounding of things. So you get pulled in to do more Walla, maybe some background voices. And I was able to work with Marcus Stimmick, Joel McDonald, Lorraine Garrett. And I took a huge time. Like I didn't, I was just a cool thing that I got a chance to do. I checked it off my bucket list and didn't think twice about it. And then one day I looked up a couple of years later and I'm like, I really missed that thing. I don't know if I just took it for granted and thought it was just going to keep being around. But, once I took the gas off the pedal, it was gone. Somebody else was filling those slots.
Yeah.
And so I did the most disrespectful thing ever now. I didn't even realize at the time, but I reached out to a friend of mine, Caitlin Glass, who's like a freaking legend over there. And I didn't even know the culture that well. And I sent her a message. I'm like, hey, when are you going to put me in one of those anime and let me be a bad guy or something? Just the stupidest thing you can say. Like now I get those messages and I'm like, I totally get it. I'm like, okay. And I'm not mad about them or anything, but
yeah,
I'm like, wow, that was not the way I go about that thing. And she politely educated me and just was like, hey, just keep auditioning. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I'm sorry. And you're right.
Yeah.
But 2 years later, she ends up casting me in a movie called Sing a Bit of Harmony. I got to play this actually a martial artist character named Thunder.
Okay.
And once that happened, and it was my first name role was Thunder. And it was a movie in theaters. And so a lot of other directors and actors came to see the show and the movie. And just from there, I think your name gets a little buzz. I'm not on the director side, so I don't totally know how it all works over there. But I knew from there that all of a sudden, some people kind of knew who I was or was tuning into my social media enough to be like, hey, I kind of want to work with that guy. And so I started booking some other shows. And I worked with the director of Blue Lock, Jonathan Rigg, on another show. Names these days. Oh my God. Can't remember the name of I play a policeman and oh my gosh, can't remember the name of the show right now. Actually it was at first I did like 2 lines as a demon in one of his shows, and I got a chance to play a policeman in another show.
Okay.
And then from that there on, I think he remembered my voice and picked me to play this cool character that shows up in episode like 7 or 8. And me, I'm like, I'm used to these like one-off guys that come in and do their job and get out, which I'm like, hey, I'm working, whatever. Yeah. I'm here to do whatever. I'll take any role. Let's go. I want to pack out these credits. Let's do it. Yeah. And so, my character shows up like, I think episode 7 or 8. I'm thinking, okay, I must be somebody's brother or something. And then all of a sudden they're like, the email looks a little different when you book someone who's a little bit more of a main or a supporting character.
Yeah.
Instead of it saying, are you free tomorrow? It's like, hey, how is your summer? You're like, what? What does that mean? Like, how is your availability? You're going to be coming in like quite often. Like, what? Oh my God, this is happening. This is real. And so I go into actor mode. I go right back to the basics. I'm doing research. I'm reading the manga. I'm doing all this stuff to make sure that, when I come in, that I'm not dropping the ball. Like, right. I don't want to be the one that they're like, oh, that guy sucks. Just putting in the work. And so through just focusing on, long story less long, focusing on the craft, I was lucky enough to bump into opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like it's been working out well for you, with everything that you've done. And, you've actually been in a few movies as well that's been mainstream. And one that I actually wanted to ask about the audition process for as well is Black Adam. I believe you are one of the guys that gets thrown off the sky bike, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's the second one that gets thrown off or something. So, what was that process like? I mean, did you just go in and audition, and how many auditions did you have to go through? And
Black Adam was that's a crazy story. That was me breaking against the mold and trying something crazy. They tell you all these rules. They tell you how to get to you want to do this, you got to take these steps, just like, there's all these people that did it before you who want to make sure, you got to do it the way I did a kid. And a lot of times you got to do it your way. And you got to go find out your own. And that's what I did. So 2020 rolled around and we were all, just staying on the positive stuff. We're all at home. We're in the house, and I see a lot of artists shooting their shot at famous people, because there's a lot of famous people are at home too. So I see musicians saying, hey, I would always love, could you hop on this song, or can I play, we'll playing the guitar to their song, and then the celebrity would sing on it, and they would on TikToks and Instagrams. And so I'm like, okay, this is really cool. I want to get in on this. I'm going to shoot my shot at The Rock. And my friends are like, dude, you're an idiot. He's got like the most following. He's never going to see it. What are you doing? I'm like, no. I can see this working out. Every Tuesday. Yeah. I was like, every Tuesday he posts random people, no matter what their following count is, posing with his tequila. Terramana Tuesdays. And I keep seeing it, and I keep getting this itch to like, I know it probably doesn't sound like, but I'm pretty introverted. I stay in the house, but I'm like, I'm going to put myself out there. I'm not the skit guy, but I think I could do a hell of an impression of The Rock. I've been watching him since back in the Attitude Era, and just I know all about the wrestling. So I'm like, okay,
yeah.
I'm like, I can do this. And so I go out and get a bottle. Actually, my mom, I call her. She's at the store. I was like, hey, Mom, could you get a bottle? She's like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, just trust me. And so she brings us home this bottle of tequila and films it for me. You can probably hear her laughing in the background of the video. And so I cut a promo, one take, just do all of his mannerisms and post it. I post it, and at the end of it, I'm laughing and back to just being myself and ask him, hey, I'm an actor in Dallas. Is there anything, do you have something going on that I can audition for? I specifically asked, I was like, he's so much make your destiny with your own two hands. I didn't want to say, give me a job. Like how entitled, how like, no, let me show you.
Let me work for it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, this is my dream. This is my goal. This is my passion. Let me show you I can work for it. Right. And, so I send it and I tell everyone to tag Terramana Tequila. And so a couple of weeks go by and nothing, so every Tuesday and he's posting people. I'm like, oh, damn, maybe the Vin Diesel joke was too much. I don't know. I'm like thinking like I messed up.
Yeah.
There it goes. It's all over. And then like at the December, like maybe like 28th, like the end of December, I'm like in the gym, just kind of contemplating what I'm going to do with my social media. It's like, you know what? I'm going to start posting pictures of socks. I'm so sick and tired of this marketing shit. I'm just going to start post a picture of food. I don't care about likes. I don't care about comments. I'm so sick of falling for this shit. And then I get a message. I was like, you've been tagged by The Rock. I'm like, what? What?
Oh my gosh.
He reposted the video at the end of 2020. It's probably still up there too. He reposted and just by itself and says, I want to give a shout out to my brother Kamen Casey. I've got Black Adam coming up, $7 production. We'll reach out to you soon. I'm like,
wow.
Shit. And he's like, I'm a man of my word. I'm like, and he is. He's a freaking man of his word. And casting director reached out. We did an audition over Zoom, read some lines for him. They didn't know exactly what spot. They just said, hey, DJ wants you in the movie. And I'm like, who's DJ? Oh, okay. I'm in the club now. I get to call him DJ. Oh, that's awesome. The DJ wants you in the movie, but you still got to audition so we can figure out where to put you. And so I'm thinking I'm just going to be an extra, just, featured extra. Yeah. I'm just trying to, get on set, meet the guy and, I'm thankful for whatever they throw me. And luckily they threw me a line and I got a chance to show my face and take the helmet off. So I was super, and just to see how it all turned out too, was so cool. Like, oh my gosh, I grew up watching the Power Rangers and my parents put me in karate because I was a little Power Ranger. Now I'm 30 in this freaking Power Ranger looking suit on this super bike getting chased by The Rock. Like, what the hell? Man.
Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, that's a dream come true. I mean, like you said, you grew up watching The Rock just the same as I did. So I bet you have that moment of excitement and panic at the same time whenever you saw that notification come through.
And then when I met him, he gets out the Escalade, and then like in that moment, I realized, oh my God, all my outfits are based off of this guy. I'm so glad I'm in costume because I look like I had like the V-neck, the aviator shades. I'm like, oh my God, this is where I got this from. Oh, this is embarrassing.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my gosh. Everybody, they're so tall. He's tall. Hiram Garcia, they're all huge. Like, damn, I'm short.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you're the same height as me because you're like, what, 5'10"?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're same height as me. So just looking up at him, Yeah. So there was one thing you're talking about, the way that you dress and things like that. On your IMDb, it says that you have a signature look and it says the leather jacket. How did you get that?
Oh gosh, who put that there? I wonder if my manager agent put that there. I guess I'm busted. Yeah, I do love a leather jacket. I don't know where that.
You can't go wrong with one.
You know what? I grew up in cartoons, man. Like I want to say Wolverine or Logan looked really cool in one. Yeah. And like motorcycle as a kid. And so when I grew up, I just feel like I just gravitated towards different leather jackets. So I ended up I've got like one of And honestly, I don't even know if they're probably pleather. Let's be honest. Like, I don't, maybe one or two leather, and then the rest are just like, I don't know. It's a cool time where like for clothing, where when I grew up, it was like, I mean, and maybe I don't know if that was just a black culture thing, but you had to match. You couldn't have on like Nike socks and Reebok shoes. That was just a mortal sin. Yep. You had to match everything. And now people can wear whatever. And it's kind of fun of just designing and wearing all types of crazy stuff. But yeah, leather jackets, I love them.
Yeah. Well, seeing my kids, you know, come up with, well, I'm going to wear this and this together. And my 90s brain is like, that just doesn't, no, you can't do that. And they do it. And it's fine. Everybody else their age is, you know, doing it as well. And to me, it don't make sense, you know, because like you said, I grew up in the 90s as well. And yeah, you had to match, you know, you couldn't have Adidas shorts and a Nike shirt, or, you know, like you said.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
They're not paying any of us, but we were so committed.
Exactly. I think that's at that time I was really big into like the And One brand and stuff too.
Yeah.
Like, there for a while, that was the only shoes that I would buy until I got one pair, and I got them and I wore them for maybe a week, and I was playing basketball and they ripped all the way down the side. I was like, well, I'm not buying any more of those.
Done with these.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to kind of switch over here a little bit. We've talked a lot about, you know, the different things that you've been in and things like that. But I want to know a little bit more about you. What do you do for fun? Do you have any hobbies?
Man, what do I do? Video games and working out. At this age, playing with my dog.
Yeah.
And just hanging with the fiance. It's pretty much
right on.
Old man life now, 30s life.
30s life. Man, I know it. Do you have any goals set for this next year?
The next 6 months?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to. I'm gonna get this feature out there. It should be out there by now. I want to get this documentary out there, and I've never been a film like when I was younger. I did the whole film festival thing, but it started to just feel like, here's a smiley face, thanks for your $50, and you're like, okay, wait a minute, this is a really good business, and I'm on the wrong side of it. But I'm like, I do want the major ones. Like I think, and I don't make film festival content. Like I like action movies and sci-fi and fantasy, but this Chuck Norris documentary, I feel like if I ever was going to make something, this would be the thing to submit to the Sundance, the Cannes, the international film festivals and things. And so I want to get that polished up and finished. And then, I think those are my main two right now. I'll probably start flirting with my next project because I don't know how much, you know, I'm 30. I just turned 33 and I still want to be an action movie hero or anti-hero or villain or something. And so I'm staying in shape for that stuff. And, but I need to create my own thing. So I'm going to be cooking up and just thinking about what the next move is.
Right on.
That's probably it right now. I'm sure some other, of course, other career. I mean, I'm just career, man. I'm just to be full time at this is just, it takes up everything, but I enjoy it. Like I enjoy acting. I enjoy voice acting. Commercials. You might see me selling random stuff in commercials, stunts whenever they call me. I'm getting a little older, but.
Well, you just did GoDaddy recently, didn't you?
Yeah. That was a fun one. When I saw that pop up on the audition, I'm like, man, what's their brand these days? And it was so cool to see kind of the rebrand because I grew up with a different version of GoDaddy.
Yeah.
So seeing them now, I'm like, oh man, they're all into AI and just like website building and starting entrepreneurship and things. And so it was so cool getting a chance to I don't say spearhead it, but be one of the faces of one of their kind of like their more sporting entrepreneurship brand.
Right. Well, I think I saw you were tagged in one maybe today where there was like they saw it on like ESPN, you know. And so, I thought that was pretty cool, you know. You've got a national commercial going out there on ESPN. Got you like you're boxing and all kinds of other stuff in the video, and it's really cool to watch.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I love those. A couple more coming this year. I can't wait to see them.
Okay.
Actually, just did a 7-Eleven one, but they cut me out of it.
Oh no! I hear people saying stuff like that happens to them.
You just never know what they're like. You shoot for ever, you know. You're shooting for hours and hours and hours to get a 30-second, 15-second spot, and so you could see me flying in the background. Like I was doing flips and tricks and shit in the 7-Eleven. I'm like, how did y'all not use like maybe another one's coming or something. But I'm like, damn, y'all were wearing me out, and we didn't use none of it.
I sweat for nothing.
I was terrified. I didn't tell them, but I was throwing I had to throw a backflip in the aisle of 7-Eleven. So I'm like,
oh gosh,
like the snacks are pretty close to each other. There's not like a whole lot of room to do that. But
no, not at all.
I told them, I'm like, hey, you're the flipper guy, right? I'm like, yep, that's me. I'm like, all right, here we go. And I just started doing stuff, and I'm like, man, I can't wait to see that on TV. I'm like, oh, okay, you got rid of it. Dang it.
So you're an action movie guy. What was your favorite action movie growing up?
Matrix. I'm going with Matrix. Matrix
okay.
1.
Yeah.
If I'm stuck on an island and I only can have one movie, I'm going with the Matrix 1. I can, anytime it's on, I hate when like my family or somebody has it playing because I'm going to sit down and watch it. I'm like, damn it. I thought I was going to get stuff done today, but I'm going to go over here and watch this movie.
Well,
I love that movie.
I love that movie. I'm actually one of those that I like the trilogy.
Yes.
You know, I like them all. You know, a lot of people will say, yeah, I mean, love the first one. First one is the best.
Yeah.
By all means. But the other ones are good too. They're fun. You know, I mean, they have, I don't know, maybe it's because I was a teenager when they came out or something, but they were awesome, you know? Yeah. And I mean, the action sequence, and I mean, it was stuff that you had never seen in movies before.
Yeah.
And so maybe that plays something in it for me. But yeah, I love that trilogy.
That I will argue that to the end of time. And they were ahead of their time.
Yes.
Because in real time, it was, I went to go see the second one, and at the movies, and the movie goes off with a to be continued. I'm furious. I'm like,
yeah.
This isn't a TV show. What the hell's going on?
Right.
But if you watch, like 2 and 3 is one movie. I didn't notice it until I got older. And I'm like, oh my God, if this came out with like Netflix, now you can binge just everything.
Yep.
So if you watch these, like if you binge 2 and 3, they flow right into each other. And it's like, it's a complete movie. And it's like, it's live action anime. Honestly, it's they're like, oh, it just got so far away from the thing. I'm like, the thing was the thing. Yeah. Number one, I can't watch 1 and 2. You can't go back. Like, I hate, look, I'm on a rant now, but when your character becomes the man, I want to see you now be the man. He ends flying. Exactly. How can he's flying at the end of 1. So what the hell do you go in 2? Yes, you're going to move on. You can't go back to the office. It's over. Like, keep going. I hate when they reboot, restart. Like, no, I want to see the guy. Like, I want to see Superman be Superman. I don't need to see him reborn again. Like, go beat some shit up.
I actually talked to somebody about that, and it had to do with Batman, though. We don't need another Batman backstory. We know what happened. And even when it comes to like Spider-Man, even that's why I like the MCU version of Spider-Man. We didn't have to have the backstory. It's like, you know who Spider-Man is. They didn't treat us like we were dumb. So, and okay. But the thing different, the Batman, it actually, so I liked it. It was because, they referenced it. They're like, what's happening here, but they didn't have to show it, scene for scene, like the start of every Batman movie when there's a new guy playing the part happens, and I liked that. And, I don't know. Like you said, they do the reboot after reboot and they're just retelling the same story and it never gets any further. And I feel like they're wasting time whenever they do that because we already know what to expect, unless it's like, how there's comic books that have different alternate universes and stuff to it. That makes sense a little bit, to kind of tell a little bit of their backstory because it might differ. But some of them, yes, they don't need to retell that same little bit again. Keep going with the story. Like you said, let Neo fly.
Yeah. Like, I want to see the thing. Like, it just, and I know, like, I don't know how marketing works, even with the Star Wars movies where all of us old guys get mad, and older than us even get mad about them making, I'm like, these aren't for us. They're not even trying to entertain us anymore. It's too tough to entertain anyone, honestly, past 40. Right. Like, they're going to reboot stuff that's for your kids. Yep. They're going to remake things. It's for the kids. It's for all the people who's not going to go watch the ones we love, Yep. But I want to see and maybe I'm just not the best Star Wars fan, but I want to see like the best version against the best bad guy. I want to see I think the closest I felt like we got that was in 3, where like Anakin versus Obi-Wan. Like everyone, they shit on the prequels, but I'm like, yo, I want to see them. Yeah, we grew up with that. I want to see Darth Maul take on Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan. That was so cool.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I am really happy to see, that he has gotten his flowers finally. He had that moment recently where all of us are grown now and we're applauding him, and all those people that were booing him before are a little quieter now, and so he got to see that love that he should have been getting all along.
Yeah, that was crazy. Passionate, very passionate fans, man. They're scary.
Oh yeah. There's another thing that you brought up, and I think you're going to feel the same way about it as I do, because it goes along with this subject. I want to see them do a Power Rangers that's more towards us. Kind of like the YouTube. Did you ever see the YouTube short movie that they did? Oh my gosh. I wish they would do something more like that.
I had dreams and ideas of a gritty Power Rangers even before I had watched those, and to see them do it, I was like really I was way too young to try to make it. I didn't have any money, but so I was like, someone finally did it. But it was so cool to see. Like a gritty Power Rangers. Oh man.
Well, and they actually got some like bigger name actors and actresses to do the parts in there. Like Kimberly was the girl from Battlestar Galactica. What's her name? I can't remember it right now. Anyways, they had her, and then they had one of the guys from like One Tree Hill or something like that on there. I was like, okay, so this person, whoever did it, they had a little bit of clout, they had a little bit of money, but what happened? Why don't we get more of that? Because I mean, I grew up watching Power Rangers. I've watched a lot of them. Even now, I've watched some of them. My wife for Christmas got me the box set for Zeo and for Lost Galaxy. So, I'm still watching some of this stuff, over here. I'm looking at my Lightning collection that I have up, that I've bought, I'm still buying the toys. So, I mean, it's been in my life all this time. I've matured. I want the show to mature with me.
Yeah, I feel that. Definitely. It's just so much that can be done there. I just feel like they've done, like the kids are covered. We've covered the kids you got them covered. What? It's time. It's time.
30 years.
Take the risk. I'd say take the risk.
Yeah. Sorry, we kind of did go off on a tangent there, but that's okay. I like to call this show a podcast about nothing, where I have conversations with interesting people. So this show can go anywhere, and I love that. When we can just have a crazy conversation.
Yeah, I can, man. I can talk all about the wrestling, sports, Marvel, Capcom, Disney, DC, Nintendo, Xbox, whatever you want to do, man.
Do you still watch wrestling?
I've the whole, when Rock came back and the whole Roman streak never ending it slowly brought me back. I'm like, this is getting interesting. I kind of want to see the climax of all this. So I'm like a kind of a fair weather, even with sports, honestly, I'll watch ESPN or First Take and just kind of catch some highlights of things. But even with, I'll catch the YouTube clips, and it seems like they've caught on to all the people that do that and have posted a lot more like full length old wrestling matches, and even segments from the show on YouTube. So I've been catching up every now. And the games are still fun. Like it made me go out and get one of the newer games. They brought back like GM mode, and I was obsessed with GM mode as a kid.
Oh, really?
Like the entrepreneur aspect of it, and I need to sign this person. Oh, I'm out of money. Oh man, so and so is unhappy. Let me make a trade. It was just, oh my gosh, that was so cool doing that with wrestlers.
Oh yeah. I remember it might have been like SmackDown versus Raw 07 or 08 or something like that. To where you could like plan out a whole show even, Like, you could do the matches yourself, or you could watch the matches as you make them. And you just plan it all out. Yeah, I really liked that as well.
My friends would do that with the Royal Rumble. We like just start it, and then just see who comes out on top. But it must be so intense.
Royal Rumble is probably one of my favorites. It's one of the most fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see that they are going to Netflix? WWE, like Raw is and stuff, and it's going to be like an uncensored version of Raw now when it goes to Netflix.
I saw just in the car, and just before this, I didn't know if it was real or not. That's so cool.
Yeah, I guess Triple H announced it this morning or something.
I can't wait to see what they do with that, just because different time, we're in a different time period.
Yep.
And Vince, I mean, love him or hate him, it takes a crazy kind of mind to do some of that crazy stuff.
Yep.
It's just it's that double-edged sword where it's like, oh crap, he might have been doing that stuff in real life. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
So can you be sane and give us that kind of like I can't wait to see like, you know, what they end up doing, because I know it can't be that stuff.
Right.
Which is cool, but like, you know, I just can't. Is it just cussing? Is it blood? Is it, you know, what's it going to be? I can't wait to. They're definitely going to tune in.
Well, what they said is they're going to be going for edgier content, is what they said. So
interesting.
We will see what happens. You know, I'm kind of excited for that.
That's going to be fun.
We're actually coming up close to a close here, and I've just got a couple more questions to ask you before I get you off of here. What is the best piece of advice that you have received since you started your acting career?
Ooh, my professor, Michael Conley at SMU. I think it was my senior year. I was torn between, I can't remember this. I remember the advice more than the situation. I was torn between two options in career. It was, I had one job that was coming up, but it might, if I take that job, it'll prevent me from possibly doing this other job.
Yeah.
Simply put, he said, take the job that exists.
Yeah.
It was so simple, but it stuck with me for my entire, like, since the last 8 years. I'm like, wow, take the job that exists. Of course, you want to go. Like, I didn't tell my students that I was a professor for a little while at TCU, and teaching an acting on camera class, and they'll be like, Kamen, I want to go to New York. Kamen, I want to go to New York. I'm like, but this agent in Texas wants to sign you right now. Like, I'm going to New York. You can. Okay, what exists right now? You have an agent that's interested in getting you work, or you can go to New York with nothing on your resume and no one's waiting for you or needs you there. Now, I know all your friends are going, and it feels like you're being left behind, and life is happening without you. What if I told you they could potentially be going there with nothing? They have no weapons, and you'll have an entire toolbox and a resume if you stick around. But you can't. You have to live. You know, you got to have your own life and your own experiences. But I try, and now with COVID, one positive thing that came out of COVID in the acting world is that it's self-tapes. You no longer have to sit in traffic in LA and wait, an hour to get 6 miles to audition to say 2 lines and then drive back in traffic to go home. You now have self-tapes where you can videotape your audition, and everyone figured out technology is so much easier and smarter and saves everyone money and time. So you can be living in Texas and still submit in New York, or you can live in New York and still keep your Texas agent happy. And so they're having to navigate all these new things. But long story short, yes, take the job that exists and see where it goes. That's probably the biggest piece of advice.
All right. I like that. That's something that everybody can, take to heart. And expounding on one thing that you said there, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing right now if it wasn't for technology. You're in Texas, I'm in Arkansas, and we're able to do this interview, because of technology. Use what's in front of you. And, I'm very thankful to be able to do this and be able to talk to people, wherever they are in the world. I can have a conversation with them because of the technology that we have now, which I know it was around before COVID, but it became a lot more prominent afterwards,
Yeah.
And so I'm very thankful for that.
And shout out to you for going for it. Like you said, you were a kid where, you were doing the DJing in the house for yourself and had this passion, this budding passion inside. And look at you going for it, where a lot of people aren't. And it's I'll talk to people and we'll have not the meet and greets, but the talk backs and things like that, and they'll say,
like a panel.
How do I become a panel? Like, how do I become a filmmaker? And and I want to make my own projects. I'm like, okay, so how did you get here? Oh, I use this GPS, and the GPS is on your what? On my phone. Okay, your phone, the thing that has audio and video. You got your camera right there. Like, oh, okay, I see where you're going. I'm like, no. I was like, but I don't have any actors. And before I could even finish, I was like, who here in the room is an actor? And like 10 people raised their hand and said, I'll be in your movie. Didn't even hear what the movie idea was. So I'm like, it's on us. It's on you to chase. It's on you to realize all the things around us that's capable of starting your dream and getting it going.
Exactly. Yeah. So do you have anything coming up? I know you do have a few things one in particular that you're probably going to want to talk about. Do you have anything coming up that maybe you want to bring up before I get you off of here?
June 28th, Blue Lock episode Nagi. The movie is in theaters near you in at least North America right now, and later dates are being announced for other countries. But in North America, we've got June 28th, Blue Lock episode Nagi, the movie. You don't actually have to see the show to watch the movie. It is a perspective of season 1 from 2 other characters. So it's a whole. It's not a recap. It's not like they've been bundling episodes and making movies like that lately. This is not that. This is a whole new, awesome, emotional roller coaster ride. Character arcs, passion, and excitement, and fun and action in its own right. Blue Lock episode Nagi, June 28th.
Awesome. So, if people want to follow you online, how can they do that?
You can the 2 that I actually take care of, I'd say it would be on Instagram. It's just my name, KamenCasey, Kamen Casey, and the same for Twitter, which I'm trying to be better at Twitter, but I kind of made it more for the voiceover world, so it's mainly for voiceover stuff. And my Instagram will have more of everything else included. All
right. Well, man, do you have any final thoughts before I get you off of here?
Oh, appreciate you sharing your platform with me, man, and coming up to me at Paris and making this connection happen, man. Sometimes I'm kind of in my shell, so I appreciate you pulling me out of it and getting me to do this stuff.
Definitely. I'm glad to have you on here. Thank you for this, and I'll talk to you a few minutes after we end this recording, but we're going to say bye on here for now, and maybe I can get you back on in the future.
Hey, heck yeah, man. Let's do it.
Hi, I'm Nick Helms, and I'm the head writer and owner of Original Geek, here to talk to you about the Kickstarter for Whispers in the Dark, launching this July. Taking on the position of sheriff, Samantha Sam Miller and her son Matthew are moving to the small town of Thornwood, a small community surrounded by woods with one road leading out of town. When kids begin to disappear mysteriously in the town, the locals believe that there's only one answer to who is behind it: the Whisperer. A dark entity whose legend goes back to long ago at the start of the town. The Whisperer was known to lure children away when there is great strife in between them and their parents. Sheriff Miller must use her wits to solve the case of these disappearances, trying to find out what is just folklore and what is the truth. From the creator of Vengeance and the Eighth Day come a tale like that's never been told before. For the first time, I, Nick Helms, step into the world of horror with this 3-issue miniseries that will have you watching your relationship with your children going forward. So support us on Kickstarter by searching Whispers in the Dark now, or go to our Linktree, linktr.ee/ORGNLGEEK, and click on the first link to go there and support us. Thanks.
Hello there. While I have your attention, let me introduce myself. My name is Colby Cheese. I'm a content creator at TikTok with over 1.6 million followers, husband, comic book collector, and avid wrestling fan. And if you're listening to this, that means you must be a wrestling fan too. We will be discussing all of the wrestling from Monday Night Raw to Friday Night SmackDown, those AEW Wednesdays to those PLEs on the weekends that we have to wake up at 11 a.m. for. And that's only at Wrestling with Colby Cheese.
All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that episode with Kamen Casey. I know that I really did enjoy having him on the show, and I want to say thank you to him for being on here, taking time out of his schedule to come and talk to me and, give us a little insight into what he does and to who he is. He's got some cool stuff that's coming up. Make sure you go and check out the Blue Lock movie that just came out. I believe he said it was June 28th is when it came out. So it's been out for maybe a couple weeks now since you're hearing this. Make sure that you go and watch it. He's also got some other cool stuff that I can't wait to see here in the future. So be on the lookout for him. He's got some big things coming up, and I'm excited to see it. So if you want to know who is going to be on the show next, you will have to wait and see what comes up on social media. I had one scheduled to drop, but that is changing now. I'm not going to be able to drop that episode right away, but I will have an episode next week. You'll just have to wait until Friday for me to announce that one, because I want to make sure that I have it recorded and ready to go. But I've got some cool stuff coming up, and if you want to follow me on social media, that's the best way to make sure that you don't miss anything that is coming up with this show. While you're waiting, though, make sure that you go and check out my podcast networks. The OIW Podcast Network, the Zio to Hero Podcast Network, and the Avenue Podcast Network. They all have great shows, and I think that you guys would find some really cool stuff to listen to while you're waiting on me to drop a new episode. You're probably wondering, well, how do I follow you on social media? Well, you can follow me by going to any one of them and search If You Give a Data Podcast. You can also look me up on Google. I should be the first 10, maybe 15 results that you can find on there. I also have my link tree in the show notes here. So if you want to just go to my link tree, you can find all the places that I am on social media, plus all the places that you can listen to this show. So, hit that up, or, whatever you need to do to make sure that you are up to date with everything that's going on with If You Give a Data Podcast. I also have merch out. I know it's slow, and I've said this for probably 3 or 4 weeks now, that I am working on getting a website up for you guys to get merch from. Right now, tell me what you want, and tell me the size and where to ship it, and we will get everything worked out there. You can do that through social media, or you can send it to my email address, which is giveadatapodcast@gmail.com. You can also use that to send me any words that you would like to say about the show, any comments, concerns. Tell me you like it, tell me you love it, tell me you hate it, whatever it is. But, I really do look forward to hearing from each and every one of you. So, drop me a line. At the end of every one of these episodes, you hear a song when I say that I love you and goodbye. That's D-Cure. He made that song for me, and I really appreciate it. If you like the way that sounds, make sure that you go out there and follow him. But thank you to D-Cure for making that awesome theme song for me. So, the next time you will be able to see me and Original Geek at a live event will be in Jonesboro, Arkansas on July 27th and 28th. We will be at Nerds AssembleCon. So if you want to come out and see us, if you're in the area, make sure you come by, get a ticket, come see us, say hi, get a comic book, get a t-shirt. I will have merch there as well. I will have some really great stuff going on there. I have some panels, so it should be a great time. So make sure that you get to come out to that. We'll be having some more live events. I actually just nailed down another one today for later this year, so I am really excited about that, and I will be talking about that here very soon. Also, make sure that you go out there and follow what I like to call my brother networks. They are part of If You Give a Data brand, and that is If You Give a Data Cosplay and If You Give a Data YouTube channel. These are 2 channels run by 2 of my really good friends that I know from 3 Ranger Bros Studios, who I met through Zio to Hero Podcast Network. And that is Cosplay Dude 637, who runs If You Give a Data Cosplay. And then Ty Tiger runs the If You Give a Data YouTube channel. Both of these are very informative channels that you can find on YouTube, and I believe you can find some of the stuff on TikTok as well. But make sure that you go out there and follow them. They help you to figure out how to do this video thing and how to do these cosplays and how to do things that maybe it won't break the bank. I think the most recent one that Ty did was based off of a tripod that he was reviewing. That was a really good price off of like Temu or something like that. So they do all kinds of really cool videos. Willie did one about green screens the other day. He did one about, the wall recently. So make sure that you go out there and you check them out. They've got some really cool videos, and they're very, very informative and helpful to watch. So as you're listening to this, make sure that you do me this really big favor, and that is rate and review this podcast. Tell me what you think of it. The more people that rate and review this show, the more likely I am to be recommended to somebody else, and the more people that listen to this show, the better. Make sure that you also like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. Hit the notification bell wherever it is you're listening. That way you are notified when a new episode of iGadap drops. So, it is the end of another wonderful episode of If You Give a Dad a Podcast, and it is time for Billy's favorite part of the show, and that is Dad Joke of the Week. What do you call friends you like to eat with? Taste buds.
Jared, you stay over there. You stay over there. Yeah, you get back. You get back right now.
I'm done with this guy.
Over there.
I'm bad.
No, bad. Let me out. I'm getting the spray bottle. I'm getting the spray bottle.
Dang it. I'm going to swing.
Spray bottle.
I'm going to put them on walls and chairs.
All right. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful week. And I will see you next time. Bye.
I'm in my room rounded, but I got a podcast on. He calls us beautiful people, then tells us who we have on. The best part of my day, though we're blocked out in my pods. Tell my friends all about it so that they follow along. And the host is kinda nerdy, but guess what, I am as well. I don't feel so alone and I began walking out of my shell. Heard a story, I need a connection I haven't felt. I'll be looking for the next one, till then farewell. It's the podcast for me. Have it on, better go see. Listen closely, download and tune in remotely. It's the podcast for me. Have it on, better go see. And listen closely, download and tune in remotely.
This podcast is part of the OIW Podcasting Network.
All right, cool, sweet. Baby Jesus. Okay, cool.